Hello, today we'll be trying to understand the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, which is basically a poem about the choices people have to make in life and the consequences those choices bring us. The poem it talks about a road, which is a symbol of the choices that people make in life. Sometimes we regret the choices we make, but what is done can never be undone. We cannot go back on the path we decided to take. The speaker in the poem regrets that he cannot travel on both roads, that he has to make a decision. He has to decide what way to go, knowing that he will never be able to go back to the other path. So basically, what Frost is trying to say is that the roads are symbolic of the paths we take in life. We don't just arrive in a location, we make a series of choices that lead us there. The first stanza of the poem is basically talks about the fact that the speaker has been out walking in the woods and comes to a diversion in two roads. He stands there looking one way, then the other, as far as he can see. But he would like to try out both, but he doubts he can do that. So he stands there looking, trying to decide which road to take. He even states that he is sorry that he cannot travel both ways. The second stanza of the poem, the speaker looks at both roads and tries to compare between the two. He eventually chooses a path that looks less traveled, a path that maybe not as many people chose to go on. Even though in the last sentence, he says that both roads actually look very similar. The last, the third stanza of the poem continues to talk about the possibilities. What could happen if he chose one road over the other? He has to make a decision. He makes a decision. He looks at the path and decides that the path he wants to take looks like less people walked on. He chooses, he decides to go, but he still has a hope of deciding that maybe one day the choice that he hasn't made, he'll be able to go back to it. The last stanza talks about the future. It talks about the fact that he already made a decision. He has decided to take a certain path. So how can we decide, or how can he decide if he's happy about it or about his decision or not? So he looks at both roads and how they could eventually lead to different paths in life, and he looks at them with a sigh. Do we know it's a positive sigh? Is it a negative sigh? We don't really know. Has his decision made his life better? Has his decision made his life worse? The only thing is we know is that it made a difference. His life is different because he has chosen a path that will lead him to many other paths in life.